and welcome to episode 4 of Sons of the Show Me State. I'm your host, Skeeter, and I have my first guest, and probably going to be one of my favorite guests, and hopefully a reoccurring guest. But if you know me, you know the Woods Water Mizzou days, then turned to Wilderness Brotherhood. I have Case from Missouri, co-host of Wilderness Brotherhood with Cole. Case, how you doing, brother?
Oh, I'm fantastic. So I decided to hang out with you tonight.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're on. That way, people really see like we're still buds, even though I didn't go
Oh yeah.
back to y'all's show full time. We're still buds. So, kind of give everybody a life update. How you been doing? Busy summer, good
Oh
summer.
yeah. Good summer. Busy summer. We moved this summer. We moved out of Kansas City and into rural Clay County. We got some property now. It's been fun. Other houses sold and gone, which was that's a lot of work. Tell you what,
Yeah,
getting a house
yeah.
sold is a lot of work. But it's been good. We're out here to live the country life and couldn't be happier now.
So you can officially say you're a Missouri farm boy now.
I mean, yeah, I grew up around here too,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm back. I'm back to my roots.
But now as an
without-
adult,
now
you're
as
a
an
Missouri
adult,
farm
yeah.
boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very thankful to have you on. Some other people I'm very thankful for. Bigfoot Wing Dust, Tanya and Joe, supporters of the show. And tomorrow, I'm getting a package delivered.
Let's go.
But let me tell you, so I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, Monday through Friday, go to the gym, work out from 4 to 5 before work. And I've been gaining muscle, but like haven't really got rid of the belly fat. So I said, okay, I'm gonna cut the carbs. So I'm going back like keto carnivore. And then Tanya messaged me and she's like, seasonings in the mail. So it's like perfect timing. Going to be eating a lot of meat, a lot of eggs, stuff like that. Bigfoot wing dust is a thing to have in your pantry, right?
It's the thing. Man, they got like just so much option and arrangement too with their stuff. Like they got what the Momo's fantastic. Patty will burn your face off, which is if you're a spicy guy like me, like eat sparingly, but that's a fun tool to have in your toolbox. Now they got a lot of good stuff, and not just chicken too. I know that wing this makes you think chicken primarily, but hell, I did a chuck roast like a brisket on the 4th, and
Yeah.
I used the Momo on there, and it seasons really well. It was fantastic. Everyone loved it. I almost didn't get any. I took it to the 4th of July party, and luckily I had some when I tested it for it at the house because I didn't get any at the party because that's how went that fast.
Yeah. That's awesome. Check them out. Bigfoot Wing Dust on Facebook, I believe, is where you can find them at. But great supporters of the show. Now, we were talking pre show, kind of what we want to talk about. And we're going to get into Mizzou football as that's coming very quickly, like 45 days out now, I believe. But, you know, with this show, we talk Tigers, outdoor, and faith. And yesterday, the faith aspect on the Mizzou side was huge. Ben Askren wrestled 1 year after almost dying and having to have a double lung transplant from pneumonia. He went out and wrestled a full match. He did not win, but just the perseverance to stick with it. Dude, I mean, couldn't be more proud.
Yeah.
I know it had to be huge to him to be literally, I think he died 3 times in the hospital and they had to resuscitate him. He's got a wife, he's got family. Wrestling's kind of what got him to where the stage he was. So to be able to go back out and do it one more time on the raft tour or whatever, like, how awesome is that?
No, that's the coolest, man. Absolute. You have to love it for him, and you have to love it to at least for a guy to go out getting one more shot like that.
Yeah.
And Ben is such a legendary piece of Mizzou athletics. It's and for everything he's done from the national championship to his UFC era, where he was a champion in UFC at one point. Am I correct in that?
Yep. I'm pretty sure.
Man, it would just hurt to go out kind of not on your terms and to get this and to, I guess not 100% I want to, but to get one more match in, that's got to at least make it feel a little better. It's like NASCAR drivers getting to have that one last race, after they get fired to get that last, like before they retire and kind of thing.
It reminds me of the scripture in Isaiah chapter 40, um, verse 29. But let's back up, verse 28. So Isaiah 40, verse 28. Do you not know? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He will not grow tired or weary, and his understanding no one can fathom. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Even youth grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Like that's the Ben Askren story right there. That verse, and so that's your verse of this episode. Usually I do it at the end of the show, but I was just so excited for Ben and that journey. What he means to the University of Missouri, two-time national champion there, four-time All-American. So career as good as anybody could have. There's no reason to go back out there and wrestle. He had nothing to prove to anybody, but to put.
I think he had to prove to himself, though.
Yeah, prove to himself, show his kids and his wife and all the people that were praying for him what is possible. What is possible. And so if any of you are having a hard time and feeling tired and weary, put your trust in God, put your hope in God, and you too, hopefully nobody's having to go through the extremes of double lung transplant, but I know life itself can be tired and weary on us all. So just hope that motivates everybody like it motivated me.
Amen.
But all right, so tomorrow, or we're recording this Sunday night, Eli and Caden Green, Nick Rodriguez, and Jamal Roberts are down in Tampa, Florida for SEC Media Days, and they will be speaking tomorrow. So tune in. SEC channel, I'm sure, will be the place to be, if not ESPN. But what kind of talk are you going to expect out of Drink?
He's probably going to get a lot of questions about Ahmad Hardy, probably like a billion.
Yeah.
So imagine all of that. I imagine he's going to answer a lot of questions about Austin Simmons as well.
Yeah.
First of all, SEC quarterback transfers are all the hot topics. With some SEC lineage from his Ole Miss, the school he came from, obviously had a big run. He actually got kind of pipped there by Trinidad Chambliss. So, I mean, there's a good storyline. If you're not a Mizzou fan, it's a good storyline. Obviously, it's giant for us. So, man, I think those two things are gonna really rule the questioning.
I think defense. The media seems to love the fact that although Missouri was, right there in the average of the top 10 in the nation on defense last year, they don't return a starter from that side of the ball. So
yeah,
it's going to be awful, putrid, like we aren't going to be able to stop anybody. So I believe he's going to be asked a lot about that. Hopefully the journalists have done their homework and they realize we no longer have Kirby Moore as OC and that we have Chip Lindsey and brought Garrett Riley, like the staff overhaul. Like I'm really excited. I think, his opening speech will probably be 10, 15 minutes and he's going to go through it all and he's going to have me pumped and excited, ready for the kickoff to be this coming weekend. But unfortunately we'll have to wait still another month. So what do you think of the players that they took? Caden Green, I think that was a given, right?
Yep.
3 year.
He's become a big foundation of that.
Starter.
Jamal Roberts makes a ton of sense. A guy that has seen playing time since he's young, been a big team leader since he was young. A guy that could have left, homegrown. Yeah, Missouri boy, could have left any time, but didn't. And Nick Rodriguez, though, that I think is the interesting one.
Yep.
So Nick Rodriguez is a guy that, let's go back to the base. I still remember when he came here, I think because his buddy came here, who was a Liberty kid who went down to Florida, right?
Yep. Yep.
James Madison, wide receiver. Well, he's moved on. And
Yep.
usually, if you lose that connection, that player isn't, it sounded like Nick Rodriguez even had a lot of offers to go other places, but
I heard Miami was offering a ton of money at him.
yes. And after the Gator Bowl, Drink was like patting him on the back, like this kid's not going, like almost as like made a statement as if, well, I know Nick's not going anywhere at least,
Yeah.
So obviously, a kid that could have gone somewhere, the kind of guy that linked him here left, you would see that. Now he is definitely seen as the leader of the defense, as a kid who got a lot of playing time last season and his first couple of years here. So no, I think that speaks big to your point you made a moment ago about no starters returning on defense. Even though Nick could be, I mean, I understand he didn't start, but he played starter snaps for us last year.
Yeah.
So that is kind of that gets lost in the translation on that whole thing. Is
Caracciol,
there's
Marshall on defensive end
Yeah.
or defensive tackles. Darius Smith, Landon Kitchens. We saw a lot of those playing edges last year. Like it's not like the Gary Pinkel era where you have a whole class graduate or go with NFL, and then you have guys that played very sparingly. No, we have guys that have a ton of snap experience.
Yes.
Like I'm not worried about defense. With the yeah, you had a
Did you hear
little
that?
cat or something there take off on you. It sounded like or
So-
dog.
you remember when I told y'all that I moved out to the farm?
Yeah,
It meant for some reason that meant that my daughter could get a new kitten, and I'm not going to pay for a kitten. So I went to another farmer down the road who had a whole mess of kittens. I just gave me one, and that cat is a farm cat. She needs to be outside getting mice. And instead, It's in the house with these cats I've had since my wife and I met like 13 years ago, and it just that little one just beats them up, just tears at these cats. That's what's happening beneath me. Is my cat I've had, my wife got like a year after we met, is getting tormented. Like almost had her. I was gonna show her on the camera, but getting tormented by this little bitty farm cat. Anyways, go ahead. I'm sorry.
all right. So excited for the media days. Tomorrow it will be Mizzou, Kentucky, Tennessee, and OU. So I feel like that's a good lineup. Honestly, I don't see why we're not like it's not like we're getting, little brother treatment from one of the other schools there. Like it should be fairly equal, with Kentucky probably getting a little less attention because Mizzou, Tennessee, and OU all kind of feel like it's a prove it year to get back to the playoffs, or for Tennessee and OU to return to the playoffs, for Mizzou to make the playoffs. Because, of course, as being a Missouri Tiger fan knows, the playoffs start the year after we get a New Year's Six bowl. We can't have everything nice at one time. But
Yep.
let's talk expectations of the season. I gave a rundown on the last episode of why I believe the pieces are there to have another 10-2 season, regular season. The big question mark for me is QB play. I know Austin Simmons, there's a lot of hype. There's a lot more tape as far as his arm and how good it is. But I don't want to buy into, I don't want to say he's gold and then it be fool's gold like we had with Bo Pribula last year. So Austin Simmons, as I laid out in that episode, he doesn't have to be Chase Daniel, Drew Lock, even Matty Mock, like out there just throwing it all over the place. If his floor is 2023 Brady Cook-esque quarterback play, 10-2 is very attainable with the rest of the talent on this team. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you. I look at the schedule, and I think Simmons being a relatively unknown is a little bit for me. But, I mean, for me, Ahmad Hardy being at 100% is much more is much more concerning. It's no secret that Drinkwitz's offense is lifeblood as running back. And when the guy can really be that workhorse, i.e. Cody Schrader, great things can happen. And when a guy can be, Tyler Beatty was just as good as Cody Schrader, but that team was like a 3-win team, and Tyler Beatty willed 3 more wins out of that team and got him in the bowl season.
Yep.
So, I'm not saying Jamal Roberts isn't enough. I'm just saying that two-headed monster is really what made this team, if we had any quarterback play last year, it probably would have been a 9-10-win team.
Yep.
And I just don't know when Hardy does come back, if anything. Let's not act like a gunshot to the leg couldn't be just change your style of play and how you, because he was a freak, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like maybe if he comes back and he's perfectly as he was, I mean, that's awesome, So I worry about that. And then I just look at some of the teams down the stretch if we don't have that ability.
November is brutal.
Exactly. I'm looking at the schedule right now. I'm just looking at November, and it's just these games are all stacked on top of each other.
Let's start week 1.
Pine Bluff.
Okay, you tell me. Let's set this up. So, in order to get to the 10-2 record that I think is obtainable, let's go game by game and say must have. Okay, games that we can't leave in doubt, right? UAPB obviously must have.
Yep.
Week 2 at KU. That's a must-have to me.
It's too easy that opponent. If you drop it there, you're screwed.
Yes. The wheels will fall off very quickly, and you lose to KU. You're going to have a very upset fan base. That Troy game probably will be pretty scarce compared to a packed house of being 2-0 and coming off a win of KU. So
they will get it packed out technically, but I bet a lot of those fans leave early. But also, bad things happen when we played Troy. We lost to Troy once.
Yep.
We beat Troy last time, but Cale Garrett played his last game ever as a Tiger because he got messed up real bad. And Kelly Bryant got hurt in that game as well. And that game derailed that season. We needed, it kind of got rid of our captains in that game. So Troy's always scary for me. Bad things happen when we play Troy quite a bit.
Well, Troy, Alabama, out of the Sun Belt, but that's a must-win. You can't lose to a Sun Belt team, right?
Absolutely.
And then week 4, 9 SEC conference games this year. So if your non-con's done, and you're only in September and it's SEC the rest of the way. So we get Mississippi State week 4 at Mississippi State in Starkville. Got to be a must-win.
It has to be, and not as easy as a game as it will be previous years.
No.
Because we had got Mississippi State late in the season, and they'd pretty much given up by then. And they're going to have all the boys row in the right direction. Like we're going to get their best shot for the first time in a hot minute. I'm not saying we should beat them, but I wouldn't be too freaked out if you're a Mizzou fan. We win that game by like 3 points or a touchdown.
Is this our first time back there since Drink yelled at the Mississippi State defensive line to shut their effing mouth, or he's going to score? Yeah. Okay, that's.
But none of those guys are still on the team, so they don't. Those guys don't care.
No, but that video, I'm sure the coach will play it on loop for them. Hey, last time this guy was here, disrespected this team in your home yard. So.
Maybe you would think they would have played a little harder in Columbia last year if that really bothered them, but they didn't try.
To start October, we get our SEC home opener and homecoming. October 3rd with Florida in town. Billy Napier's gone. The Tulane coach goes over. It's like, hey, one Louisiana Sunbelt school didn't work, so let's go.
Try another.
Rinse or wash, rinse, repeat.
Spin that wheel again.
But I don't think this coach is uh, Billy Napier level. Billy Napier, had he hired an OC, probably would have been all right. But he was stubborn and thought, I'm good enough to be OC and head coach. We'd probably have a new coach had Eliah Drinkwitz not done that in 23.
Totally.
Um, but Florida for homecoming, in order to get 10 wins, that's a must win.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's a first-year coach in the SEC. And I get Florida, and they have good players, but if you want to be 10-2 in the SEC, you got to beat first-year coaches. When
And
you have an established coach yourself.
it's homecoming at the university that started the tradition of homecoming. Like,
Yep.
don't lose that. Right? And then it's kind of weird how they did the schedule this year. We get Texas A&M the following week at home.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the one that I hope Eli's got circled. I'm tired of losing to them.
Boy, they got our number.
Never really thought much about Texas A&M. Even when they came to the SEC with us, it was like, okay, that's a school I don't really think about anyways.
Yeah.
But, since 23, well, they've beat us the last 2 years, right? And so this is toss-up to me.
Excuse me, sorry. I think we take the L there. I think it's gonna be a packed house. I think it'll be great atmosphere, but there's something about them that have Drake and Co.'s number. So when we go 10-2, that's one of my L's on my sheet. If you want to get 10-2,
The schedule is set up for a very real possibility of being 5-0 and coming into this game.
Yeah.
Let me pull up Texas A&M schedule up to the point just to kind of see what kind of vibes they might be riding on before they come to Columbia. So they open up with Missouri State, Arizona State, Kentucky, at LSU, and Arkansas. That's not really the gauntlet.
No, that's Arkansas, a new coach. Same thing. They should roll them.
At LSU's probably going to be the tape that we need to pay attention to, the score we need to pay attention to, kind of.
Yeah.
No.
Because I could see Lane Kiffin being pretty hot year one there.
Yeah.
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 I'm not a huge fan of the guy, but he can get a program up and going pretty quick. It's not going to keep talent.
So you're going to put that as one of our losses.
Yes, I am.
In a 10-2 season.
I don't have us going 10-2, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm just asking you to get to that 10-2.
Yeah.
The middle of October, we go on the road at Ole Miss. So we play both Mississippi schools in Mississippi. The Rebels still are rated higher, ranked higher than us, getting a lot more love. Trinidad Chambles, he must be a godsend. Kewan Lacey, some are trying to tout him as a better back than what Ahmad Hardy was. I don't necessarily believe so. I think that offense was very good to him to allow him to score a lot of those touchdowns in a lot of short yardage situations. But Ole Miss, in order to get 10 wins, I think, is a must-win to me. I feel like Austin Simmons needs to go in there and show them, hey, you guys put your chips on the wrong quarterback.
Yeah, totally. I actually 100% agree with that. Yeah, if you get that number, you got to beat them. Obviously, I know what they did last year. I know that they had their current coach with them for that playoff run. I'm not trying to take anything away from that. But it's another technically first-year SEC coach. It feels – I know this is a little different. It feels a little to me like when John Gruden took over for Dungy at the Buccaneers in 2002.
Yeah.
Got his way to a Super Bowl, won Super Bowl, and then just never really had that much success there ever after that because it wasn't really his team. It was Dungy's team.
Yeah.
That's kind of, I think, what happened last year.
That team last year was jaded. Like, they wanted to prove it to Lane.
It ended up being a bit of a chip on their shoulder and almost helping them. in a sense. But I mean, Lane is a good coach, which I don't care for him. Lane is a good coach, and he wasn't there all offseason, and that is going to change something, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And then we get a bye week following Ole Miss, and then coming off the bye, they come down to my backyard on Halloween night against the Arkansas Razorbacks. Got to be a must-win. Ryan Silverfield
Got to be.
and the Razorbacks are projected. I think Vegas has them at 2.5. Some sites maybe 4.5. So not predicted to be bowl eligible. Let's not be one of those teams that get beat by a team like that.
Yeah.
I think he did get a lot of talent compared to what Sam Pittman had on the roster, but a lot of it's on the outside. And we know how important it is to win up front, and that's where I feel like Mizzou has a big strength this year, why I'm so bullish and thinking the 10-2 season is very attainable. And so you've got to go in and just impose your will at whatever that credit union bank is. It's no longer Donald W. Reynolds Stadium.
They just got a terrible sponsorship, didn't they?
Paycom or some credit union.
And it's not an Arkansas company, is it?
Oh, it's actually a company based out of Kansas that most of their business is done in Missouri, and now they're trying to branch down to Arkansas.
And I figured, it'd be Tyson Food Stadium or something.
It's a great strategy for banks to get the naming rights, because now the school's funds will more than likely run through that bank or credit union, whatever you want to call it, but still.
Oh, it's Community America. Yeah, that's a big one around here in Kansas City.
Yeah. But
they also sponsor our independent baseball team here in Kansas City Stadium, Community America Ballpark.
So they're big into sports. So, big into
minor league sports teams.
Minor league of the SEC with the Arkansas Razorbacks. But we definitely have to beat Arkansas, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. And then we come back home for the November slate and get Texas, November 7th.
A game I can't wait to attend.
Yeah. 11 o'clock kickoff, already determined.
It's hard to have to put this in the must-win category, but, I mean, with Georgia looming the next week, I have to put it in that category.
Yeah. In order to get to the 10 wins, and you already have an A&M on there.
Yeah. Because I circled Georgia as the other team. I mean, I would love to beat Georgia again. Not that I think we can't do it, but on the road is going to be hard. Texas is at home, and at this point in the schedule, I think Texas got to be a must-win. That's a rough spot to be in, but it's the SEC, baby.
I would love for Ryan Wingo to come into a packed-out Faroe with the new north end zone, the stadium, bumping, and he realizes this should have been home, and he goes home with the loss back to Austin. Like, that would be great. That's the player I want to beat more than Arch Manning. Arch getting all the media and attention, that's more from his uncles, not necessarily his fault. Guilty by association with having the last name Manning. But Ryan Wingo's the kid that I absolutely want him to see in person the vision that Eli sold to him in recruiting. See it, feel it, sense it, but go home with his head hung with a loss.
No, absolutely. Great storyline there for sure. I would just love to stick an L to Texas, because the whole Texas OU edition was everyone kind of saw them as like, oh, now we got little brothers with A&M and Mizzou. Whether that's true or not, obviously not with our record, but you'd be lying if people didn't say that felt like that. We were to beat OU year one. Lost them close last year when they were a far better team than us. And I love to take Texas down, too, on that, just getting both those two new teams knocked out. Also, I think that's the only team we haven't beaten SEC play.
We haven't beat Alabama as SEC members yet, right?
You're right. You're right. Yeah.
That's
Never
our
mind.
one want to.
Bama
Just
and Texas, I guess, are the last two.
still distraught over that Zion Young unsportsmanlike conduct, going over flexing over the Bama receiver after he gets blown up on second down last year, and they got a first down. That game could have went completely different without that moment. But as you said, after we beat Texas, we go on the road to Athens, Georgia. That's a tall task.
That's a tall task.
2013, Matty Mock and company pulled it off.
Yeah.
Can the 2026 Missouri Tigers do it? Brady Cook had the Tigers knocking on the door in 22 and 23 of knocking off Georgia, just come up a couple plays short.
Cook also threw a pick right to a lineman. That was a pretty terrible decision on that play. So,
Yeah.
And obviously anything's possible. And it's so crazy because this would be so deep in this season. What I know now and what I'll know then are just such completely different things. Like, obviously, we got to talk about something in the off season. But I mean, so I'm just talking out of my tail right now. Man, I don't see it. But like, I hope on November 13th I got a different mindset. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's how we sit and view that game now. Like, it's very optimistic to think we come in top 10 ranked and like College Game Day there and SEC Nation there because it's the game in the conference for sure, and the game of deciding which teams go to Atlanta for SEC championship. Like, that's the potential I want riding on the line. But by the time we get there, who knows how the season plays out.
Yeah.
It'd be great if Georgia sucks. Like, that won't hurt my feelings. I don't hate Georgia, but they've had a good run. Let somebody else step up.
They're due for a disappointing season.
Yeah. But you're absolutely right as far as how we view it now versus how we will leading up to it. So, in order to get to 10-2, do our Tigers go in Athens and get the dub, or they come home close fought loss once again?
Close fought loss if they're 10-2.
I think I would agree with that. Then the following week, come back home against Kentucky.
Yeah, interesting game.
No Mark Stoops, first-year coach.
Yeah,
Kentucky.
Will Stein now.
Yep,
not a bad hire. I don't
from
think.
Oregon. No, young, energetic guy. Did I hear somewhere he had ties to Missouri at some point? The state, maybe not the university.
Yeah, but something like that.
How do you feel playing a coach like that who has Power 5 play calling experience? And, you get him next to last week of the season. That gives him a lot of time to learn on the fly as a coach.
No, it does. But it's not about him in that situation. It's about their record.
Yeah.
Because in transfer portal era, if he does not have those boys absolutely like in the thick of it with looking for 8-9 wins, if they're sitting around the 500 mark, which I think would be a good season for Kentucky after what the Stoops era did to them in the NIL era, just like the first couple years of drinks, those players are going to quit by now. It's like I mentioned Mississippi State early. If they're not in the thick of it, which I don't think, they're probably fighting for 6 wins, which is a good season and then first year coach like that in the SEC. They're going to absolutely just not be there. He called it a ball game of his life. He's only going to get 60% of the players.
Let me tell you their schedule, because I just flipped over to it and looks like a very manageable schedule to get to a bowl win, even with a mediocre roster. They open up with Youngstown State, I believe, then Alabama, at A&M. So I said easy to get to bowl, and then I'm Alabama and at
And
A&M.
Bama's
So
on there, yeah.
yeah, and then South Alabama, then at South Carolina, LSU, at OU, Vanderbilt, at Tennessee, Florida, at Mizzou were their last SEC game because their
They play
rivalry
Louisville.
week is played Louisville. So um, that very well, I mean, that their schedule as far as SEC rankings, like, could they beat South Carolina? Yes. Could they beat Vandy? Yes. Could they beat Tennessee? We don't know what Tennessee has for a quarterback. That's a big question mark going into the year for them. Could they beat Florida? Yes. So I don't think it's doom and gloom for Kentucky. Um, it's like I said, it's not Mark Stoops. So that's one that I wouldn't just necessarily circle as easy, just as you said, as a Mississippi State. It very well could be a close game. And every time we play Kentucky, like, I'm still not over punter inside the tackle box.
Yeah, that's a hell of a call.
Still not over pass interference.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
every
still
time we play
my
them,
desk.
we get stuck by the SEC officials.
No,
Or there's a rule
I
change
understand.
after the game. So,
I don't know, and yeah, I guess the SEC East, that was a whole weird thing that kept happening to us. But like, I feel like we kind of broke through that weird Mizzou Blues situation we were in there for a minute. I mean, you're a little more optimistic on that schedule than I am. Will Stein is a good coach, and I think he will do good things at Kentucky. But I just don't think it's this season. I think he could jump up and beat South Carolina. I don't think he can beat Heupel, no matter who his quarterback is. I don't think he can beat LSU with Kiffin. Yeah, he could beat Florida probably. Bama, obviously not. I don't think he can beat OU. I think that. It's not an easy schedule.
to me, well, no, not easy, but easier for them to get to 6 wins, I believe, than
Yeah, I mean,
what most
and I think
people would say.
they could
Like a
beat
bowl eligible
Louisville, and
team.
they can get to 6 for sure. But I'm just saying,
Like, it's primed with that schedule for them to pull an upset off in there somewhere to me. I
yeah,
just hope
against South
it's
Carolina.
not against us. I don't think South Carolina. I mean, Lenore Sellers is back. Dylan Edwards, or not Dylan Edwards. That's the running back. Uh, Dylan Stewart, defensive end,
Yeah,
out there at South Carolina. But other than that, I mean, Shane Beamer, I expect to be the first coach fired this year in the SEC. So,
but they play them early,
yeah,
and you know the kind of offseason hype South Carolina and Beamer always get every year because they Sellers and
finish
Beamer
strong.
and South Carolina are media darlings. They love them. They don't actually have to earn anything there in South Carolina because they've never earned anything because it's actually a crap program. So they're going to get a ton of love, and they're going to go into that game. And even if they've lost one or a game, South Carolina is going to be seen as like, oh man, it's big time. And yeah, I think they'll knock them off, and then Will Stein will be talked to town because he's doing big things. When you're right, it really shouldn't have been an upset, but with the hype that Beamer always gets, it'll be an upset.
But in order to get 10 wins, Kentucky's a must-win for us, right? Like,
Absolutely.
I'm not saying a loss.
Absolutely.
And then to close out the year, our new rivalry week, no longer Arkansas. After Thanksgiving, we get the Oklahoma Sooners, Choklahoma,
So-
Oklahoma.
As a resident of the state of Arkansas, how do you feel about that?
I'm excited about getting to go to a game and it being above 30 degrees and north wind blowing, and that excites me. It's usually a cold, rainy game, and
Yeah.
so Halloween night it should be perfect weather to go short sleeve, blue jeans, and call it good. It does suck because there'll still be hope in the Arkansas program. So instead of getting 50-yard line tickets, 15 rows up for $40, I'll probably have to pay $40 a ticket for the nosebleeds. But you take what you can get and not throw a fit. So I do love the fact of getting to play OU at the end of the year. I was worried they were going to stick us with like A&M or Kentucky or somebody weird at the end of the year, uh, and kind of feels like they're not forcing the Arkansas thing so hard with them finally taking that off. So
Yeah, and I like the Arkansas back and forth. It's fun. But OU has a lot more history with us,
yeah,
and with them playing their arch rival in the middle of the season, with the Red River Shootout, I think it fits both of us well. They traditionally absolutely owned us in this rivalry, so it is time for us to make a little ground back. But I actually am very excited about this one because I hated OU back in the Big 12 era. Just hated them. And it was mostly because they just screwed up everything for us. You know what I mean? They were
they come into
constantly
Kansas City,
spoiled.
get our best kids, and
Yeah.
then every time we were right there knocking on the door, it seemed like it was OU that ruined it.
Yeah, they ruined our season in '07. They were just an absolute pain in our side constantly, which is probably why they don't see us much as a rival. But hell, traditionally have been. We used to have a trophy. They lost it though.
I think us beating them in 24 um, with our backup quarterback, like that, really showed them, hey, this isn't
Yeah,
the Big 12 Mizzou, and so I think they started taking us a lot more serious, um, a lot quicker, and so maybe garnered a little bit of respect from them. I don't think they'll ever view us as the level of competition of Texas to them. That's fine. We don't have to be that level. They're they're the two, Texas and OU. That's the couple in the office that act like they hate each other, but when nobody's looking, they're making out, and they think they've got everybody fooled, but like it's too obvious that they actually kind of like each other.
yeah.
Just they don't want anybody to know it. Like for them two to buy out of the Big 12 at the same time and come, that's like we never would have left with KU and went to the
No.
same conference at the same time.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah, and
You
to
know.
OU to kind of just drop OSU on their head like that was,
Yeah.
pretty telling.
Yeah. So
Pretty telling who the real buddy is. I totally agree with that. But yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, I think you got to win that one if you want to go 10-2. But
let me
also if you're
let
in
me
that
tell you
spot,
OU schedule because I think the wheels are going to be falling off the bus. You're going to have people calling for Brett Venables' job. They open up with UTEP, then at Michigan.
rough.
Um, then they get back home for New Mexico, and then at Georgia. Then they go to Dallas for Red River rivalry against Texas. Then Kentucky, at Mississippi State, South Carolina. So there's our three easy weeks in the SEC, if you want to call it that.
I'm gonna get
And
Florida
then,
too.
yep, at Florida. Their November is at Florida, Ole Miss at home, A&M at home, at Mizzou. So their month of November is just as hard as ours. But
But I'll
I
tell you
can
what,
definitely
that
see their
September,
wheels are falling off on them.
yeah, that September. That September and start of Oklahoma, or start with sorry, that start of October against Texas. That's gonna, man. If they don't come out guns firing in those and win 2 out of 3 of those, they're DOA.
I can see them
So
losing
their
2 out of 3
season,
of it.
yeah, and I'm saying that would be bad for them. I wouldn't be upset, but yeah, they have definitely got to come through there looking pretty well. But they do get 4 weeks of subpar SEC teams.
Yeah.
And Ole Miss, as we talked about, could be great again. Matters what Lane Kiffin effect is. If that stayed there or not. A&M will probably be a wagon. We'll see. And they got us. So, yeah, it could go either way. That is about as much as a crapshoot 50-50 ball on will the wheels be off or not. I could see there. But it's interesting because we'll know by October 11th.
Yeah, we'll know very quickly what they are, and so I'm going to look real quick because one of the guys at work was saying something. I work with a bunch of OU fans, and I think one of them said something about we can't lose 3 times in a row, and so I think Ole Miss has beat them both 2 times that they've played in the SEC against each other. So I'm pulling up their all time. Oh, Ole Miss is 3-0 against OU. 3-0. Played in '99, and then the last two since joining the SEC. So that's kind of turned into a little bit of a circle on the calendar game
Yeah,
for the
absolutely.
OU fans. But do you think the 10-2 is completely unattainable, or do you see we have the pieces and the schedule kind of falls to where it is possible?
I mean, I don't think the schedule does us any favors, but also like if you would be 10-2 in the SEC, there's going to be some dogfight hard games in there. No, it's all going to depend early on if these boys can get on a roll or not.
I think that 9-3 gets you. You're still in the conversation of playoffs, but
Yeah, it's close, right?
with Mizzou being who they are, we're not media darlings. We're not going to get the extra. If we're 9-3 and South Carolina's 9-3, they're going to be praising
Yes.
uh, big forehead. They're going to be praising Beamer's, coaching job, and they won't be talking about Drinkwitz, and they'll be trying to get South Carolina to the playoffs from the media side of it. That just seems to be how it is. Even Clark Lee would probably get more hype with getting Vanderbilt back there again. But at 9-3, I think you leave a lot up to the committee. 10-2, I think you're a lock.
Yes.
And with the 12-team playoff, I absolutely want to see Mizzou in the playoffs. I would hate for them to expand it to 24 or whatever they're talking about doing down the road. And then we get in then, because then everybody's going to be like, oh, they had to double the playoff field in order to get little old Mizzou in there. The crap talking that's going to come from that. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
we couldn't make the 14 playoff. Let's make the 12-team playoff and get Mizzou football on the national stage, just like we were in 23 with beating the Buckeyes in the Cotton Bowl. So anything else football or Mizzou sports related before I talk to you outdoors real quick?
No, heck, I think I emptied my tank on that one.
Yeah. So outdoors, deer season's fast approaching, just like football season. We're kind of in that summer lull where you're thinking about 4th of July and lakes and rivers and swimming and doing all the summertime stuff with the kids while they're on break from school. And then you blink and it's like, crap, hunting season's a month away or football season's a month away. So
True.
with you now having this property, it's property you've hunted before.
Mm-hmm.
You doing the game cameras and doing any work, like trying to set lanes up, or?
Yeah. So I actually spent 3.5 hours in the old Ford 3000 tractor today. Just cut. It had gotten, so it's a pasture that goes out into heavily wooded sides there, and I essentially want the width of this thing, which is probably 125 yards wide. I essentially want that to be my entire lane because they're going to travel to the woods, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It goes cattle farm, 3 acres I own, but it's all just heavily wooded, and then it goes into my open pasture, right? So I know they cross there. I've seen them cross my entire life there. I've seen them cross there now. We're seeing deer, we're seeing bucks back there quite a bit. So I've gotten the thing all pretty well cleared out, but I've left the edges pretty thick for thick coverage. And so really my setup here now is just getting a nice spot on top of the hill where I can get cover and look out. It's going to be great for rifle. I think for archery, I may have to be on the ground because the way the overhangs are, I just don't think ladder stand will be kind of optimal. It'll be too many branches either way.
They're tall enough, they'll think you're a tree anyways yourself.
Yeah, maybe. But I'm just excited. This is one of the things my wife and I were excited about is, there's an opportunity for me to just, not drive all the way from Kansas City to the farm. The farm I usually hunt is much closer now. And also there's not. I can just grab my rifle and walk to a spot.
Yeah.
No truck involved at all. So this is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be really good. And I'm excited to get a little more hunting in this year because of that.
And you get to know your herd a little bit better. Like you won't need the cameras as much. Like um, getting up in the morning and leaving to go to work or whatever, you pay attention and see deer standing out in the field. You kind of learn a lot more about the land and their trails and the herd. And, are they bedding anywhere? Or are they just strictly passing through? I know before you said it's probably a pass through
Yeah.
property for them, but now with you living there and having the tractor, like you can develop food plots. Like there's so much
Yep.
potential. I know it takes time, and I hope to get Daniel from growingdeer.tv coming up on one of these episodes to talk about the upcoming Missouri deer hunting season. And him and Dr. Grant Woods are just constantly learning and growing what they do in southern Missouri. But you have a lot of potential there, and I'm excited for you. And I can tell you when you put the summertime work in and you get that vision of how it's going to happen, and then you go out in October, November and execute, and it happens just that way. Like you don't care if it's a spike, you're just as excited for that as you are something like that, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited for you. Uh, you were just in Colorado a couple of weeks ago, so get some fly fishing in.
Yeah, I did get a little fly fishing in. Man, I'll tell you what though, Colorado's struggling right now. They did not have near enough snow melt this year, and it has really hurt the reservoirs and the streams out
Low
there.
water.
Low water. So yeah, the fishing has really taken a hit because of that. Um, so I got to go out and fish the Dream Stream down there in South Colorado. It's beautiful, but the water was obviously a foot and a half lower on the bank than it should have been, which made it for a difficult go. Then it hits a lot of these lakes, man. That these mountain lakes I would go to are just incredibly low. So they're struggling out there a little bit. That's a shame. Hopefully they have a bunch of really wet off season, and they get double the snow they had last year, and it rights the ecosystem there. But
Well,
I
let me
do I
ask you,
do feel
when
bad.
with lower water, uh, would that allow the water temperatures get high enough because it's less water to heat?
Yep.
Uh, so would that get the waters high enough to where their spawn would not survive?
Yes, absolutely. It hurts. It hurts the spawn, and it hurts just like the stocking system as
Yeah,
well, because
yeah.
a lot of those Colorado trout will be stocked in the mountains, out there. Um, and yeah, it's absolutely could be an issue.
Well,
I don't
uh,
know if you just saw the news that came across our phones there, but
yeah, yeah.
I'm off. We are off the skid for Team 22. Let's go.
Hey, that's back-to-back weeks without a Toyota winning, so I'm very excited for that. Uh, we're talking NASCAR for those that are still listening at this point, but might not know what we're talking about. So
Throwback
uh,
tire rub.
the my outdoors haven't really been able to fish a lot this month or anytime recently, and haven't really thought about hunting a whole lot other than watching the deer herd at work. And but this week I got to do some rodeo ministry, go behind the chutes of a local rodeo in Oklahoma, and hand out Bibles and pray over the contestants, and get to witness to a couple of them. And dude, it was hot, and when you show up to do something like that, you've got to have your rodeo attire. So cowboy boots, blue jeans, long sleeve button up, and a cowboy hat, and it's 100 something degrees outside. So, but
Spicy.
it's worth it. Uh, you just I hope them seeds that I planted, uh, you know, God gets a hold of them, waters them, grows them, because it was some guys that can really change some lives. So excited for that. And uh, before I let you go, real quick, kind of talk about your faith and how, over the last year or so, you've really kind of had a change in how you approach it. It's not just a back pocket thing. It's more a daily life for you now than it's ever been.
Absolutely. And man, it was about the time me and you went on that trip to Talladega, and we had a long drive from Arkansas to Alabama, and we got talking about all kinds of topics. But faith was a big one, and I think I didn't realize it at the time, but I think something had kind of sparked in me that I mean, just kind of led to where I was going. I just got to this point where, I mean, what was I putting my concerns in? What was I put? Well, who was I? These blessings are coming from somewhere, and is just worried myself from the ground about life really going to help me or anything. And it kind of started there, and I had a moment. And in my old job, I used to drive like 900 miles a week, and I still remember I was up in Trenton, Missouri, outside in just nowhere, rural Missouri, and I hadn't prayed in probably months, and I just start out loud praying in my car, asking for forgiveness, asking to be put back on a path. I want, I like, I you know, I've always I believe, but I feel like I don't, I want to know you better, kind of thing. And
Yeah.
right after that, you had remembered I had gone on that little like 90-day program, and where I lost a lot of weight, built a lot of muscle. But another thing is you had to do like something like mental in that little setup. And for me is in that 90 days, because the kind of person that was not praying enough, I made myself pray at least twice a day, at least when I wake up and when I go to bed, and sometimes more. And I mean, I felt like I got so much closer to God then, and that really built up to where we are now. Where when we made this move here to where we are in this little town, um, my wife and I had been talking, and we wanted to get back and go to church. We hadn't been going in years, probably a decade, and we're going to test a few out, is what we said. And the first day was this happened to be Easter. We moved to this house Easter weekend, and it's just so funny because we walk in, we sit down, meet the pastor. He obviously we're new, comes, shakes our hand, introduces us, very polite. And I mean, we just felt at home there immediately in this little bitty country church. Nothing
Yep.
flashy,
Yep.
but man, we felt at home. And it's just the message. We all know the Easter story, but the message, just whatever reason, finally rang home to me. It really became it really made a lot more sense to me than it had. And then, well, let's go next week. And man, I would be praying. I'd be praying for these things in my life. I just asking for like guidance. And dang it, did it not just seem like that sermon had something in it that I asked about in my prayers throughout the week every Sunday. Like it just felt so much like God's like finally coming back to my house. Like finally we could talk one on one. And it absolutely felt like I've been spoke to, and give me guidance. And I mean, I don't really know how to put this, but I have absolutely come to the terms that if you live your life through Christ, and if you give up your worries and just pray and work, you will live a life. You may not be a billionaire, and I'll be honest, I think there may be some other stuff going on, not God. If you're the one being a billionaire in life,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that might be another side of the spectrum. But I think you will live a life where you can help others, your family will be helped, and it'll be a rewarding life. Just live through Christ, live Christ like, and do your best at that. And that's if anyone asks me about religion, that's where I go. I mean, it's not some grandiose story, but man, I feel whole, and I feel like we're on the right path, and that is just worth its weight in gold.
That's awesome. And I mean, you don't just, you know, say you're a Christian, and like I have noticed a difference in just casual phone conversation with you, um, over this time period. And You know, there might have been something bad happen to a vehicle or vehicle breakdown, or, you know, something didn't go the way you wanted it to. And like, it's water off your back now. Like, you're not stressed. It's not beating you down. There was other times where, I mean, sometimes you just be in a mood to where the weight of the world was on you, and really wasn't much of a conversation, if there even was a conversation. And um, to to know that you don't have to carry the burdens of this world by yourself. Life's temporary, anyways, but eternity's forever. Heaven's real, hell's real. There's only one way to
Yes.
heaven, and it's through Jesus. And when you put Him at the center of your life, over your wife, over your family, over yourself, over Mizzou football, over deer hunting, when He's at the center of it, it just feels like so much more falls into place. And it's so much easier to let the things I realize in my life, how many things I let ruin my day, ruin my week, of things that I have no control over. But I
Yeah.
control how I react to them. And I was losing that battle in my reaction to the things I have no control. And so life is life. Life is hard. This world will chew you up, spit you out, run you over, back it up, and run you over again. Like, that's how this world is. But when you have Christ on your side and you have a church family you can plug into that loves on you, that pours into you, and you build this friendship and this bondship, like, dude, it's great. It's great. And the change in you, like, I'm proud of you. Uh, can't wait to see where God takes you, and excited to know, like, now your family's, you know, Sunday's church is a big part of it. And as a father, and, you know, you having a little girl, like, that's going to make a big difference on her life in so many good ways. And so proud of you, and just wanted to give you that love before we get off here.
Well, man, I certainly appreciate it. And like I said, I know you don't want to take too much credit, but I believe God works through all of us, and I really do think the highest calling you can be is just leading others to Christ, saving their soul, kind of thing. And I credit you a lot. I mean, it's not like you're going out there like a salesman trying to hard sell me. You know what I mean? Like, what can I do to get you in Christ today? But it was you were a friend, and you came at it at a very very approachable angle. And I do say that I thank you, because you really did
Yeah.
put the building blocks there for you put the first step for me to get my foot on to kind of climb that stair set. So
That's
I really
that's
appreciate it.
that's our job as Christians, to represent Christ in all situations. I fail at it every day. You know, I can't go back and change, but I can be better today than I was yesterday. And tomorrow I hope to be better than I was today. So go out and plant them seeds. Let God water and grow them. It's not anything that we're doing. It's uh, mainly we just share what Jesus and God has done for us in our life. And that's the best testimony we have. That's really, to the non-believer, that's better than any scripture, is giving a personal story of what God's done for you. So appreciate you coming on. Can't wait for you and Cole to fire back up on the Wilderness Brotherhood. You
Yeah,
can
it's
bet your dollar I'm gonna come
working
on
on
there
it.
as a guest, and we're gonna have, what do you say, a hoot and a half, maybe
Hoot and
two
a half.
hoots.
Maybe
You
maybe
know,
two whole hoots. Who knows?
so we're gonna have a good time. But appreciate you coming on, and hope everybody has a blessed week. Keep your eyes focused on the cross. Keep the love of Missouri in your heart, and as always, MIZ.
COU.